I run an honesty stand, which is open one day a week every Saturday, so Thursday is my first prep day of the week. This is for things that have a longer shelf life, things like butter and granola, which is what I'm doing today. I have invested in a second mixer, so it takes me not as long to do the butter anymore, but I get the cream churning for that whilst I get my granola sorted. I use the same recipe every week as the base of the granola, and then I do a different flavour week by week, and this week's was dark chocolate and banana. I have learned through trial and error that when it comes to granola, if there's chocolate in it, I will sell out. I got so many comments last week saying, why is your granola in such a big bag? And it's just because I was using them up. So you'll be very glad to know that I got some smaller bags. Here they are, and these are just the perfect size. This is a problem. Once the butter starts kind of solidifying, it splashes everywhere. So I was on Amazon trying to find a guard for my KitchenAid, ordered one of those, and this is what happens when it is finally done. It just goes absolutely everywhere. But that was the first batch of butter done, and it was also time to get my granola mix in the oven. This goes on a pretty low heat to toast up nicely, and it gets turned over 2 or 3 times during the process. But you do have to be a little bit careful because there is quite a high sugar content because there's lots of honey in there, so the edges can catch if you don't catch it quick enough. I cleaned out my bowls and then got the next batch of cream on. Got the weirdest comment on Facebook, which is where I get all my weird comments, which was that she thought I must have a cow to be churning butter, and what's the point of buying cream to churn butter when you could just buy butter? And no, I don't have a cow in the garden. I just enjoy making my own butter. It is cheaper by quite a long way to make your own butter, and I think it's quite a nice thing to offer to sell. It's something different that you don't see in honesty stands very often, and there's been very, very few times when I've been left with any butter at the end of the day because it's very popular. So even though I don't have a cow, I will still be buying cream to make butter. Once the granola was all cooled down, I added my chopped up dark chocolate and a couple of bags of banana chips, and then that was ready to package up. So I labelled all my bags. Everything has to be weighed. They're all the same weight, and once that was done, I needed to print all the labels. And after a while, the granola was ticked off the list. That is always the first thing that I get done for the week, and it's always a great feeling. Then it was time to flavour my butter. I portioned it into 3 different bowls, and I did my usual of a salted butter, a hot honey butter, and a salted chocolate butter. And they get packaged in greaseproof paper with some ribbon on. I used to chill my butter in blocks and then cut into rectangles and wrap them up like presents with ribbon, but that was so time consuming. And then when it was Christmas time, I made brandy butter and I packaged it like this to make it look like a Christmas cracker, and I thought, oh my god, this takes about 1/10 of the time, literally. So this is how all my butter gets packaged now. They were all labelled up as well, got to put the price on everything, and then I got on with my chocolate butter. This has got dark chocolate and milk chocolate in, and cocoa powder.